Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to iCup TV. It will be your awesome caster and host, Fitz here. And you guys are tuning into Week 1, Season 20, Division B1 of iCup Clan League between Black Dragons and the Reps Russian Fun Gaming Pro Team, which is also shortened to Reps. And this will be series number 4 and game number 2. So, without further ado, spawning in the bottom left, it will be the Red Protoss competing for Black Dragons. It will be Blade. And spawning in the bottom right, apparently his computer has just frozen. And spawning in the bottom right, it will be Reps lovelesbi. Love did lose last game, but we'll see if he can come back for another win here. And Jade, before I jump into the statistics of both these players here, Jade is very similar to Fighting Spirit. You do have a reverse ramp though, which makes it a little bit different. It's very much like an inside-out Fighting Spirit with a little different tweaks to it. So you have a reverse ramp, so you see a lot of building placement on the high ground, just so you don't want to get the Dragoons on there. But as I say that, of course, both players put their pylons down. But just generally speaking, you see a lot of that because you don't want, especially in this matchup, which is surprising to me. But if Dragoons get up here, it's really, really annoying. But sometimes you can, if that does happen though, you can get melee units. Like a lot of Zerg, like Zerg can go through a ramp very easily. You can get Archons, which we wouldn't have super early in the game if there was a Dragoon timing push right there, like a 3-gate Dragoon push. But that could happen, or you can see a couple Zealots going up here as well. But it's small though, keep in mind. So Dragoons the Zealots won't get a complete surround on that map. So your natural's pretty easy to secure. And then your third is also connected on the same high ground, and there is only one little ramp to defend that off. So you'll see that oftentimes blocked by pylons and etc. Other useless buildings that you don't need, or expendable units. And then you have this big ramp over here, which you can't wall off, but you see a lot of players put your armors here, just so they can get a better position. Because all along here they'll get that high ground advantage. And if you guys just don't know, high ground advantage is if you're on the high ground, you get 100% win rate, not win rate, excuse me, hit rate, versus when you're on the low ground attacking to the high ground, they actually have a slightly decreased rate of accuracy, which would be 25 or 50% decreased accuracy, which I'm not quite sure the exact number on that. So I should eventually look that up, because I've said that. And that's pretty much the map. Also, other than the high ground and etc. up here, which sometimes you see players go up here and then try to make their engagement happen on this side so they can get a better positioning. But sometimes players are smart enough not to engage on that. But in the higher, now this is just what I've seen. In higher, when you get to the mass units of things, sometimes the high ground doesn't matter as much, because that tends to be when you get a lot of melee units into the mix with range. So range aren't going to do as much damage, but when you have like 3 control groups of speed zealots that have armor on them, they're going to be able to stampede their way up that ramp with no problem, especially with Archon support. Now that can get countered by a lot of Archon, defensive Archon, or what have you. And what are we going to be seeing out of both players here, getting past the intro phase of this game? We will be seeing a Range Dragoon opening, nothing out of the ordinary coming out of Love right here, and yeah, pretty much standard stuff right here. Both players have 2 zealots on their ramp. Both players have at least 1 gateway. They both have 1 gateway. They're both researching range. Literally, look at that. Literally, look at that timing. Bam! Like, that's literally on the dot. And what have we seen down here? Another pylon, probably for just scouting purposes. No kind of proxy going on right there. You just want to make sure that any kind of proxy or kind of drop late does happen over there. Just for that, maybe a potential drop late game, but, you know, just getting that better map vision anyway. It also helps. I mean, when you're just seeing a big black of nothing, sometimes it just makes you feel a little bit better to know, like, oh, I can click over a ramp here or something along those lines. I don't know exactly what that would actually give for him in the bottom left-hand corner of his base, but that might prove to be something beneficial to him. But I'm just rambling on about random stuff right now. But I'm just trying to give out my little rants about little things in Brood War. And second gateway. Ooh, it looks like a 3-gate goon pressure, actually. 4-gate goon. This is all in for sure. If you're not looking to expand, ooh, we're saying 4-gate, actually. Now, if you guys don't realize, 3-gate isn't necessarily quote-unquote all in if you're doing all Dragoons. But you have to cut pro production in order to get off the 4th gateway with consistent goon production. But both players need to make sure they don't get supply locked in these moments here, because if they lose a wave of goons when they're attacking their base here, it's gonna look kind of bad. But it looks like Blade's gonna want to push out and do some aggression here. Now, will this do enough damage? Like I was saying, they kind of tend up to go up this high ground just to get a better position, or what have you again. But I don't know exactly why, because you can't actually see when they could push out, because you can just go around here. But that will be 3 Dragoons versus 2 Zealots versus 2 Dragoons and 2 Zealots, so not the best position here, and he's just, like I said, this ramp is so big that they can just run up this ramp anyway. But looks like he's actually okay for right now, and we're seeing 4 gate out of both players right here. Is that I was gonna say, if that's the 5th gateway, that's a little ridiculous here. But like we'll see that all these minerals will be slightly deteriorated once he does another wave. Or not. or not. I'm just like seeing. Oh no, there we go. All the minerals are getting down. He just produced all 4 of these Dragoons. But here we go. We're gonna get him engagement, but he's on the high ground though, so he actually won't do the optimal amount of damage he wants to be doing here. So he's gonna have to actually be pushed back here. So it'll be 6 Dragoons on 6 Dragoons with 2 Zealots in the mix there. But I don't think he should be engaging here with the Zealots right here. That's not a good. This is not a good engagement for Love right here. He should not be going against these Zealots here. But he actually might be. I don't know how Love was actually able to do that, but he's just completely avoided the Zealots because they do not have speed. But he's just target firing the Dragoons here. Nice starts coming out of Love here, and things are looking kind of grim right now for Blade. And this push, well, I think will eventually get cleaned up because the Zealots are finally going to be able to close and do some damage here. And nice little kind of just blocking up those units right there. But somehow, Love has done an extraordinary amount of damage from this push right now. And both players kind of traded armies here, which tends to be how PvP goes in a good matchup of PvP. But these Zealots are doing, he's not really microing to the full sense what he could be doing. But will this Dragoon get taken down? It will not, but all he has to do is target fire that one Dragoon, which he will do, and this push will finally get ceased to exist right here. Do not mind my phone when I have Timur Raza commenting on my I run a club in my high school, but not StarCraft, guys, don't worry. But at the same time, though, somehow Love has been able to put on this aggression here. However, keep in mind, he has not taken an expand yet. He looks like he might be doing it as he's floating a little high in the minerals here. If he overextends himself, this could be very bad. For example, if he waits for another extra 4 Dragoons to pop out right here, he's going to be in a very good position just to do a counter push right here. Him meaning Blade, and it looks like he's going to be able to push up this ramp here. Like I said, I mean, that ramp makes it a little bit more difficult there, but Love will have to back out here, and we'll lose that one of those, that second to last Dragoon from that push here. But he's going to continue to go for this aggression here. I think he should wait. I think these Dragoons are not weak enough to go for this push here, and he's just going to lose more Dragoons here. And now Blade's starting to get momentum here, and this is one of the problems with going for this super aggression, like I've always said in my past games before. I know my iPad lights up with that notification as well, but do not mind my little banter about that. But we're going to continue production of this. It looks like finally expansion's coming out for both players. Exact timing! This is absolutely ridiculous here. Oh no, he did another 4. He did another wave of Dragoons. 47 supply, 245. So, Love is actually at a higher supply right here, but his army isn't up right now just because he just did another wave of those units right there. So 47, 248, so pretty much identical now down. Now he's just slowly losing these Dragoons while retreating here. And the problem what I'm seeing for Love right now, he's done a really good aggression from the get-go. He should have stopped. Now what he's doing is he's trying to go in, but now Blade has stabilized to the point where he's going in, he's realizing the fact he can't do damage, and now on the retreat, he's losing 2 or 3 Dragoons, which is better than losing the whole army. But keep in mind that he's lost every time. He's gone in there 2 or 3 times now, and if he loses 1 or 2 Dragoons from that, he's at least lost 3, if not more, Dragoons from those engagements. So it's not looking really good. He's also not being set up on the ramp here, giving him the best position as possible. But here comes Blade. Will he lose a Dragoon? He might. That Dragoon is very, very low on HP, though, but I'm not quite sure if he realizes that. And it looks like he might lose 2 Dragoons right there. Maybe even 3. And it looks like Love is going to be going for it here. Will he have enough? I think he has more than enough Dragoons to deal with this right here. He's going to be going after 2,000. Are still going to be picking from the rear side of this side of that armor right here. 2 more Dragoons are Yeah, 2 more Dragoons are going to be coming from the rear side right over here. But I think there's just too much stuff from Love right here to kill off Blade's army right here. And Blade was not in the best position to deal with that right there. Somehow speaking, and it looks like he's going to try to get in the best position against these Zealots as they do not have leg speed up. And we did see Robo and finally Citadel coming out, so it looks like he's going to be getting speed fairly shortly here. But now Love is going to go trade his whole army because there's going to be too much stuff coming out of Blade fairly shortly because these Wave of Dragoons should be done, or Zealots actually. But Wave is going to continue to reinforce with 2 more Zealots of his own at the same time. We're going to be seeing actually Forged, so instead of no Citadel up quite yet, so he might be getting +1. Does he actually have an upgrade advantage right now? He does not. He might. Did he get a couple probes? I don't think he did, and he just will complete fodder. Love will complete fodder his the rest of his army. And I'm looking here. I think though, just because Love has been so aggressive this game, you know, even though Blade has lost significant numbers of his army, even though we're seeing around similar, we're having a 7 army deficit as we can see it right here. But regardless of the fact, we're seeing though that he has higher tech. He's getting Zealot speed, and I believe he should be getting a Forge right down. But no +1 though, and yet he has a Forge. And this is concerning. He just needs, in order for Love to continue on, he needs to get tech. He's getting Robo support base, so it looks like he might try to end this game right now. Will that be the right move? He's gonna have to find a sweet spot for sure. There are no cannons there, but this map is pretty good to transfer probes out of. And I mean, at the APMs of both these players, if I failed to mention, it's 171 and 160 at this game. 171 going to Blade and 160 going to lovelesbi here. No, sorry, 150 and 176. Sorry, swaps those numbers around. Sorry. And 150 for Blade and 176 for lovelesbi. And I just don't think with that APM, if they're being active, he'll be able to transfer those probes out, and if his map awareness is good enough. But Blade will be pushing out here. He will have charge done, or excuse me, speed or whatever, or what have you. Reaver's yet to be completed, and is he getting speed? I don't think he has shuttle speed yet. I'm trying to find out. And here we go. He has a couple Dragoons let in the back though, and he doesn't want to lose any of these Dragoons right here. He will be stampeding up his way up here, and I don't think Love was going to be able to hold on. There's just way too many Zealots charging up their way across these Dragoons here, and even that one cannon's not going to be enough to deal with. There's no storms. He has no available storms to him, as there is no storm to begin with, and there's just going to be too many Zealots coming up right now, and which will ultimately end this game right here. There's no way Love can hold this off right here. I do not see a realistic solution that Blade could actually lose this engagement right here. Very, very nice. It's doing so much damage coming out of Blade right here. There's the GG by lovelesbi. There's the GG by Blade. And oh my goodness, that was kind of fun to watch. That engagement, at least. So, what we saw there, for fifth step of the game here, going to lovelesbi. Like I was just kind of continuing on about the game when it was kind of slowing down just to figure out what lovelesbi was, why I was giving my advantage to Blade. Blade had a better tech advantage. He wasn't nearly as aggressive. Now, not to say that's a bad thing. Not to say he was passive either. What I'm trying to say though is, a lot of players, what the problem with going a super aggressive style, which might be Love's style, which is not a bad thing, but you want to know when to stop. You want to know when to stop doing your aggression, because you'll put yourself in a scenario when you lose your army, when the other player gets an upper hand on you, a better, either a strategic positioning, or a lucky storm, or what have you. If they get the upper hand in a battle, then you won't have that army, and then especially in a mirror matchup, when you lose your army, that army's going to be coming right towards your base. They're not going to go sit back in their base. They're going to go for you if this is at least a regular standard game here. And that's exactly what Blade did. He did lose. You know, there was trading in the armies there, which made for some pretty awesome battles happen, but in the end result, lovelesbi continued to go off of 4-gate pressure. He never got the tech he wanted. He was trying to go for Reaver tech, which may have been, if Blade waited a little longer before Reaver tech would have been completed, and also, I think just by Love's timing of that was pretty significantly delayed. Because Blade, keep in mind, did the exact same build. We saw, like, literally the same timings of everything at that standard. So there should be no reason why Love's Robo was, like, at least a minute and a half, 2 minutes later than Blade's. That doesn't make any sense. He wasn't producing any more expensive units than Blade was. I mean, their units, their supplies were nearly identical. And as we're looking at the resources here, somehow... No, we're even looking at here. Blade spent 125 more, like, stuff than he did. lovelesbi spent more minerals than he did. Actually, yeah. Now, how does that make sense? Love spent more minerals. Love spent more gas. You guys are seeing this, right? This is not me being wacky. Total spent was 15... Whatever. lovelesbi spent more. And he still didn't have his Reaver Tech up. Which, I mean, Reaver Tech's going to take a while to get up, so you need to get that up faster. So that engagement would have looked a lot different if there was 1 or 2 Reavers in the mix, for sure, because they would have dealt with the Zealots. But the main problem was he didn't have Zealots in the composition. He was going Master Goon. And the problem with that is when Reavers, when you get up like at least 12 or like a dozen and a half of Zealots attacking you with speed, you can't micro your Dragoons enough, especially when you have Dragoons in the back of their army, a Blade's army attacking you. That's just not going to work out. So that will conclude this series. That will end the casting for tonight, if that really doesn't matter for you. But these videos, I'm going to go render them right now and upload them tonight while I'm editing the 13 videos I've been doing. Sorry, I haven't been doing nearly as much. Now this is where I'm going to just go drift off a little bit. If you guys are into my cast, that's great. And if this video is coming up in the morning, I did record this. I'm starting this at Eastern Standard Time. Keep in mind, I record this at sorry, my random phone, of course, goes off. But the fact of the matter is, what I'm doing is, this week for me is looking like this. So it's Monday right now. Tomorrow I have a half day at school, but I'm gonna be hanging out with friends, and I have work till 7:30, and then I have schoolwork. So I might be able to get 1 or 2 casts in by the end of that, but I do not count on that if you guys are interested. Wednesday, I'm going to be too wiped out, because what's going to happen is I'm going to have school, after school, getting help with extra stuff like a Chinese mainly, and then I'm going to SAT class right after, and then I have schoolwork. Whatever that schoolwork entails will depend. Now, if I get home with no homework, that might look a little different. But SAT class does wipe me out pretty much, and it's kind of hard. Being my enthusiastic self, sometimes I don't want to go cast when I'm not really super hyped up. Thursday, I'm working. That's not going to work either, because that's 5 to... Well, actually, because I'm not going to be guaranteed... Thursday, I might be able to get 1 or 2 casts recorded, but they're definitely not going to be rendered in time by the upload, probably by Friday. Friday, I'm not working. No, Friday I am working. Friday I'm working after school. That might be a good night for me to cast. And I just have one more series to cast. So essentially, what we're looking at right now is that we finished the casting for today. We finished the cast for tomorrow. I'm gonna be able to get 1 or 2 casts in. Wednesday, I'm gonna be able to get 1 or 2 in. Thursday, I'm gonna be able to get 1 or 2 casts in, but I'm not gonna be able to render the videos. Friday is looking like a pretty open day, depending on my social life, because social life becomes over StarCraft. No, big whoop there. Saturday is when I do a lot of my major recording done and completed. That's when I do a lot of my recording done. So, yeah, that's when I'll probably be able to get like a whole series done, depending on it. That's when I normally do like a 3-hour session of casting, and then before I head out to a friend's house. But that normally takes a while for me to render as well, because that is a lot of casting to do. Because it actually takes me a while to render them, because getting those overlays in place just takes... I don't know why I'm actually describing all this, but that's what my status is right now. So just to go overview, I actually have to go do... What's the other team I'm doing? I'm doing Walk. So I have to do Walk versus whoever they are in Division B2. And then, yeah, the only remaining series in this game, I'm trying to use my piece of paper that I wrote everything down on. is gonna be Flash, not Gosu, not like the Gosu Flash, like Ultimate Terran. This Flash is actually a Zerg versus Negro Play, which I'm gonna call him Play because I don't like saying Negro. Actually, Negro's fine, but it's just a weird name because he's Russian too. He's not like American or black, but yeah, he's a Terran, so that'll be his ZBT. And that pretty much concludes this cast, this VOD. You guys know my stats for this week. I'll be trying to update them as much as possible. I don't like doing these major upload slews just because, one, I spend so much time like going out of the casting phase. Like I do so much casting, I do so much rendering, and I do so much of the multimedia aspect of like sharing out the videos on Team Liquid example, because not everyone follows the subscription thing on YouTube. And I'm just doing this to help the community out as well. I'm not doing this for views per se, but well, the views help out the community, I guess. But so I do that, and then, man, I just need a break. But what I'm trying to say though is realistically, I like to do 2 or 3 videos, quickly render those, quickly go update them, and then be done for the day. I don't like doing like 13 casts at once like I did just recently. And oh my goodness, that was fun. That was a lot of fun casting, but there's so much post-production after. It's a little ridiculous. I spend too much time on Brood War, guys. Legitimately speaking. But I do it for you guys. I do it for the love. I do it for the hate. I do it for awesomeness. I do it for the moments of Brood War. I do it for everything else. So guys, I've ranted on for way too long this video, and have a nice day, guys. Peace.